I mean, I don't know. TikTok, like sitting on TikTok during the pandemic and like getting fed all this, like all the videos of like all the husbands and wives or like even just girls that are making money on OnlyFans. It was like, you can't have kids with that. But,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I mean, feet pics don't have faces.
No, I did try to do that with the dog's feet, though. I thought maybe like it would be funny, but nobody thought it was.
What the hell's going on out here?
So obviously, podcast here. I know you. You know me. Probably the good majority of people who are going to be listening to this initially might have a loose or a brief understanding of your story. For those that might just be tuning in for the first time, who has no idea who Calin Sims is and what this gym is that you're talking about, how'd you get to where you are? Give us your origin story.
My origin story? I graduated from college in 2018, so in May of 2018. And then like the day I graduated, I played college softball. So the day I graduated, when that chapter of my life was over, I did an internship with a girl who was also a patient at one point, and she was a physical therapist. I thought I wanted to do PT school, so I went and did an internship with her at her office. And I got there and I was like, oh my gosh, like you look really good. What do you do? And she was like, oh, I CrossFit. You should come to class with me. And so that's when I had my first experience at a CrossFit gym in general. It was
here in North Ocean Hills?
Yes.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, very, very close. I went there and I loved it and I signed up that day. And it was like everything that I was looking for because I always identified as like the athlete. So I needed something still to compete in. And so I went and I loved it. And I was there for, I guess it would have been 2 years. That gym ended up wanting to change over ownership to me, and that fell through. And I was a little bit more heartbroken than I thought I would be because I think I had told you about it and I was excited. And then when that didn't work, like my only option was going to be to open my own gym. And that's when I was just like, yeah, I don't think it's meant to be. And you were just sitting in your office in the other building and you're like, why don't you do it? Like, well, I don't know.
So
how.
For people who don't know, what year are we sitting in right now?
This is 2020.
Okay.
It would have been like April because the official like fall through of that was May, end of May. And I was like, well, I don't really know how to do all this. And then you started talking about how you built your office up and how you just moved down here like with your U-Haul and your little car and Tamika and
little car and a little wife.
Yeah, and that's how you did it. And I was like, well, I guess I could try. And so then I really started to invest in like the thought of taking over this gym and like how would I change it? How would I make it better? How would I grow it? At the end of May of 2020, that fell through. And then I was again a little bit more upset than I thought I would be. And then I was like, well, Dr. Taylor, I'm gonna have to like open it from scratch. And you were like, again, why don't you just do it? And I was like, well, I don't know, I have to do a lot. And you're like, you just go find a place. You gotta do that first. Go find a place and go do all that. Just keep me updated. And so we went and we found a building and I came and told you about it. And you were just very encouraging the entire time. And then in October of, well, I'll backtrack a little bit. It takes a lot longer to open up a build out or like a gym or whatever than you think. Because you have to get permits and then your building has to be like finished and all of the things. And I feel like when we were
you had a bunch of like bathroom issues, didn't you?
We didn't have bathroom issues.
Concrete
he just
or
like
something?
he would tell me like, oh yeah, your opening will be on this day because we're almost done. And then I would be I lived down the street from there, so like I would go check it and be like, there's nothing done. And he was like, oh, we're waiting on a permit. Oh, we're waiting on this. Or we're waiting on that. And then we ended up finally opening in October of 2020. We started off like with a couple of members and like I started off pretty okay. I finally started to kind of get the ball rolling with members and everything. And then in February, we started hearing things about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wouldn't that be wild? March 1st. And I was like, oh, I'm like really hearing stuff about this. And then I think it was like the second week of March, they were like closed down for 2 weeks, the whole spiel of slow the spread for 2 weeks. And so I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And then it became more serious. And then even here in the office, like you weren't adhering to any of that. You were like very much standing up for yourself and like what you believed in. And that was, again, admirable to me because I was like, well, I don't believe in any of this stuff or like that really is going to change a whole lot for everybody. So while I did close for probably 3 weeks because
it wasn't long.
It wasn't very long because I was very afraid of the fines. Like as a new business, I just like I didn't want to risk it. I couldn't afford the fines. And we were in here at a team meeting, or maybe you were just in here, and I was talking to you about it. Like, oh, my members, I think somebody had texted me and said that their mental health wasn't great because they couldn't come see their friends. They were very isolated. And you had said like, I'll pay your fines for you if you happen to get in trouble. And I went home and I was like so impressed with that because you, I guess, ultimately believed like deep down like, that wasn't going to happen. But like that gave me a sense of security in it because you were having to fight people here about like you being open or you not wearing masks or whatever. But you just had like such confidence about it. So somebody who really wasn't confident in the business that I was running, like in myself and my abilities to run a business, that was such a pivotal moment for me, like that statement. And I opened up and we were the only gym that was open and we stayed open and we didn't have any issues.
Do you even have like code compliance come by or anything?
No.
So
we didn't have anybody come in.
Because I think you must have been, yeah, because the pandemic was going on. Because if you remember, like we had code compliance come by here on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah.
And they came in and you could tell the person was just hating their life.
Like I have to be here.
And like they literally come in and they'd be like, take those 2 chairs, spread them apart. Cool. Snapped a picture of it with like a fucking like a digicamera or something like that. And then they would just leave.
We did tape the floors for like, because some people were concerned about it. And like, I'm just here to work out. Like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. So we did tape the floor and that actually, it just made our classes flow a lot better. Now we're almost 4 years old. So here we are. We survived.
Tell us about you. Like, why are you here? Why would I have asked you to come here?
Because you love me.
Well, I mean, besides the obvious.
Because I'm kind of like a product of your bleeding, like entrepreneurship, leadership. Like you built me up as much as I am now.
Built you up or just believed in you?
I think
and then
a
just
little
let you
bit
do
of
it.
both. Because I'm definitely somebody who doesn't tend to like figure things out. Like if the Excel sheet is in like giving me the $sign or something, I'm like, Dr. Taylor, instead of just Googling, how do I fix this? With the gym and everything, I think I didn't really know. Like I was kind of looking for somebody to really tell me like, it's probably not a good idea, but you were just like, oh, do it. That wasn't the response I was thinking of.
I can do that. I can just go.
And especially with like being that this was my job and like I was working for you at the time, it was very like, yeah, you do what you need to do with that. Like you're going to be here as much as you can be.
If you're going to hit a hard stop, like there's going to be no wondering.
Yeah.
Like, is this the end? Like if it's the end of whatever it is, a business or shit, a relationship, a career, like I feel like there's no questioning it.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, yeah, this is definitely, I gotta find a different path. Do you have a plan B?
No. Brandon always asks me, if you didn't have the gym, what would you do? I'm like, I don't know.
A different gym.
I'd have a different, I feel like I would be in some sort of fitness space or maybe I would go back to school, but like, I don't know. I really don't know what I would do.
Do you have to?
No, I guess not. I mean, I don't know. TikTok, like sitting on TikTok during the pandemic and like getting fed all this, like all the videos of like all the husbands and wives or like even just girls that are making money on OnlyFans. It was like, you can't have kids with that, but you know,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I mean, feet pics don't have faces.
No, I did try to do that with the dog's feet though. I thought maybe like it would be funny, but nobody thought it was
I wonder if this will be the opener. Just no context whatsoever. Feet pics don't have faces.
They do.
Fueled by spite.
I thought about it. Of selling pictures of my dog. But
people buy dog pics?
No, probably not. But I like wanted to do. I was like, Brandon says I have pterodactyl feet, but I don't. I'm tall, so my feet are proportionate.
Come on, just a totally new demographic that I didn't expect with this podcast. Why can you do what you do? Why can't everybody do what you do?
I don't know. I feel like everybody. Well, maybe not.
You've met people.
I've met people. I don't know. I do feel like really maybe because of you when we did like all of our personality stuff and our strength stuff and when Tamika came in and talked to us, it was very eye-opening because you always say like work on your weaknesses, but really she changed it around to like absolutely not. You need to work on your strengths. My strengths are like being around people, entertaining people, like communicating with people. So like I'm very good for like the face of my business. However, I'm not super good on the back end because it's a lot of more like detail oriented, which mean, like I could do better at it, but like I don't think I do bad at what I do. But I wish like I had some aspects of maybe your personality as far as that, like very detail oriented, like you know all of the little numbers. I can tell you how many people showed up to class yesterday. Total. That's about it. Everybody can't do what I do because it requires a lot. It's a very emotionally demanding. It's physically demanding a little bit, but I think emotionally I don't have a lot of little kids. I don't have a lot of other aspects in my like day to day that take that energy from me. So like this is what takes my energy.
Who told you you couldn't do it that surprised you the most? And you don't have to give a name, but like what was that scenario like? I'm sure you had I know you had someone tell you no. But who told you no that surprised you? And what was that encounter like? What was that situation like?
I think the one that surprised me the most, but I understand where they were coming from, was my mom telling me, and my dad a little bit, telling me like, well, you know, that's not going to be the most lucrative thing ever. Like, you're just not going to make a ton of money. But I think the more that we were able to show them what I've built now, like in hindsight, they're like, oh, like, you know, money, while it's really, really wonderful, and I would love to have more money and I would love to make a lot of money in this business, which I can learn to do that. But initially they said like, you're just not going to make a lot of money. It's not lucrative. But in my head, it's like, money's not everything. So if I hate what I do, but I have all this money, like maybe, you know, I could find happiness in that because I could maybe travel more. Or I could do other things. But like, what if I couldn't? What if I just had all this money, but like I still couldn't really travel because of whatever the job is, or I still couldn't do the things that I find fun. So like, you have to figure out like, is it worth it then at that point? There are times when the gym is harder, like the people are a little bit more difficult. I'm very non-confrontational.
Fact.
Yeah. I get upset. I cry when I get angry. We can't have that. But I don't like to upset people. I'm also very much a people pleaser. But anyways, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm helping people and I'm changing somebody's life in some aspect, even it might even be the gym. It could be that like they would isolate themselves if they didn't have the gym. So like they just get to come in and like I just said hello to them and that was what made their day better. You know, whatever it is. That's what matters to me.
You know, there's a lot of people out there. You might be the only person they talk to
all day because everybody works from home.
Yep. They go back, they sit in front of a computer, they move their mouse every so often, so it shows that they're active. But literally, like it would not surprise me if you said 4 years, in your 4 years owning a gym, if there were days where people would show up, they would talk to you, and then they would go home and they wouldn't talk to anybody until they talked to you the next time they went to class. Yeah. Because I mean, you know, like again, when you were here, you know that there are patients like that we were the reason for leaving the house.
Yeah.
4 years of business. Obviously, you've been doing plenty of stuff right because it's 4 years in business. I'm sure you've heard the stupid statistics of, you know, X amount of businesses don't make it past a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. That being said, what's the biggest mistake you've made?
I would say that because of how I saw you doing things here of like patients first and like, I don't want to say like buying a bunch of stuff that like makes their experience better, but I would do that at the very beginning with money I didn't really have. So my like spending to income was off. So like me just trying to be the people pleaser and like the face of it all and not even worrying about the back end of it. I was like, while they don't see this, I'm like internally crying about this because I'm like digging myself into a hole. And it was never like in a hole so that I was ruining the business, but like my business could be better off if I had made more like slightly smarter money decisions out of the gate.
Fair. We don't need the expensive chalk. We can get by with budget chalk.
Pretty much. They were like, I really want to throw this party for everybody because I did never get that stuff. Like I want to know, like maybe I'm internalizing some of this a little bit or projecting, I mean, but like I wanted to create this experience kind of at all costs because I wanted them to have such a wonderful experience or just like have a good night out with all of their friends and like it's surrounding the gym or like I would, you know what I mean? Like I was just trying to create things that maybe I just couldn't quite afford yet.
You never struck me as like the hostess until you started your hosting your community nights at your gym. Like in my mind, like when you were here, like obviously I'm not a host. Don't come to my house. None of you are invited ever. but like even here, like we do our patient appreciation day once a year. That's plenty. And that's about it. Like we don't do a whole lot of stuff. And I don't say this as a slight towards you, but it seemed like that's kind of how you would feel too. If someone asked me, hey, do you think Calin likes to throw parties? I'd be like, fuck no. But then like your community nights at your gyms, like it blew me away, like the amount of attention to detail and stuff that you put in there. And again, granted, whatever's on social media might be slightly different than the actual experience itself, but it legit looked like you were having a good time doing it.
I mean, that's what I was trying to do, is like create an experience for people, because because at first, like I would put stuff together and then nobody would show up. And I was like, why don't they like me? You know? and like, that's what sucks, is like, well, maybe I'm just like not doing the right things, or like as big of a thing as they want. Like maybe it doesn't look cool enough. So then I kind of started to do that more, and then people started to engage more, which kind of sucks. But at the same time,
it's kind of what you're going for. Like that's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this? This is an opportunity for people to look at me.
I know.
Notice me. Tell me I did good.
Yeah, I'm a words of affirmation girly.
Right?
Yes. But like that's the thing too, is like I just wanted people to acknowledge the work that I put in, also because I want them to have a good time. So when nobody would show up, or they like wouldn't come, but I would see them on Instagram like all hanging out. It was like, are we 15 years old and like I'm just not invited? But that's the thing too, is like as the owner, you don't get invited to anything anymore. You're not in the community. But I like that. I loved that aspect of like my team. When I was at the gym, I was always invited to these things. But now as the owner, like I have a slightly separate relationship with everybody. And like, while this kind of upsets some people sometimes, because like I'm not as close with them or whatever, I don't get invited to things. And like that really bums me out, because I'm like, from a business standpoint, like I'm not your friend.
Right.
That's like probably one of the harder things for me.
For you.
Yeah.
Not me.
I like being on everybody. You're very like, when you're in here, you're very, very engaged. And then like the moment you're done, you're like, all right, we're tapped.
I mean, it's absolutely like, that threshold right there. Like it's a fucking portal.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny too that you say that, because even before Tamika and I started dating, or we're married rather, like, what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna go out to eat. When I was in chiropractic school, because we had that long distance relationship. Like, what'd you do? I just went out to eat. She'll be like, by yourself? Yep. Why? So I was hungry. Like it wasn't a thing in my head that like I had to have people or permission or anything like that. It's like, and it's the same thing here. Like in here, like you said, I know everybody and everything and what's wrong with them and what ails them and what they did last weekend. And I'm loud. I mean, on one of these episodes, I've already recorded it. I don't know if it's going to be released yet, but I talk about a breakup letter I received from a patient. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you're here or not yet, because I was too happy. I was too loud. Dr. Taylor's too loud, and he's too positive, and that's annoying to me. All right, deuces. Bye. This isn't going to work for you. But then like I leave, and like outside, like I don't talk to people. Don't get me wrong. If you come up and say hi, I'll say hi. But like I am totally cool having like 0 words the moment I walk out of this, like cross that threshold. So all this being said, I think this is a wonderful segue. I doubt this episode is going to drop in time, but we're talking about the things that you've done for your gym, for your community, the event stuff coming up. What do you got? Again, from the outside looking in, it looks like you have something rather big coming up at the gym. What's going on?
We have a 2-day individual CrossFit competition.
2-day? Oh shit. Okay.
It's a 2-day. So I don't believe in any of the time that I've been in CrossFit that I've seen that in North Texas. And right now we're going to be bringing in, I think, 85 athletes.
Holy
which
shit.
is a lot. Everybody does team around here because it's a money thing.
Okay.
I wanted to do it from the point of view that if you go south, you get very competitive athletes. A lot of like the teams that are going to semifinals or the games or whatever, they're south in Texas. Nobody's really up here. So I kind of wanted to draw athletes from everywhere to do more individual work, because when you do team stuff, yeah, it's fun and we all love it. But my more competitive people, it's hard to find a pair that are very competitive, or it's hard to find, especially if you're doing like guy girl teams. It's just for fun. Like I want this to be a slightly more serious. Like our goal is to grow this and maybe have to host it like at a stadium of some sort. So make it 2 days because it's worth more money that way. As far as like a prize, or like it's more bang for your buck as far as an athlete
Right.
goes.
You've done in-house competitions at your gym. Have you done? I mean, what's the difference? The split between the in-house and you've had competitions at your gym for what? Let's say 5 events, something like that, where you might have had a smattering of local athletes.
Yeah, so they would be public that way. So I had one in December. It was teams of 2 same-sex pairs. That was more for fun, because we wanted to see if we could handle it. And then our response from our community and like the gyms around us was very, very positive. Like, you guys did a wonderful job. It was run well. We had good prizes. The workouts were fun because there's nothing worse than going somewhere and like you're supposed to work out at 1:00 or whatever, and they get behind and you don't go until 2, or the schedule. If you can adhere to a schedule, your judging is like decent enough because they are all volunteers. Your prizes are good for you to like kill yourself all day, and then they say congratulations.
Here's a tumbler. It's a cup.
No, I will not be participating.
Where's the competition at?
We'll have one event is going to be at a park in Keller. It's about 5 minutes from the gym. That's where one of our events will be. It's a big run. Brandon built these big wooden
Saw those like a
wall
hurdle
thing,
for like
hurdles basically. So they're gonna have to get up and over and then run and then get up through. It's a cool thing. And then the other events are going to be in our gym. So we'll have 2 locations running at once. I will not get to see a single person go on the field because I will be inside running all of those events, and then we will trade people. But
You'll be inside where? I don't know if I've even told people where you are.
At the gym in Keller.
What gym?
CrossFit Bear Down.
There it is.
Yeah, 4 years running. So that's where I'll be all weekend. I won't see the light of day all day Saturday or Sunday probably.
Is the garage door open?
Yeah. But like I won't get to go do anything. I will be right next to my desk, panicking the entire time. I'm not a very good person to like run this stuff. I want to go mingle. I don't get to mingle with anybody.
You want to be invited?
Yeah.
To mingle.
Yeah.
CrossFit Bear Down. Where is it?
It's in Keller, so it's like 5 minutes from Alliance Town Square in, I guess it's like Fort Worth Keller borderline. I'm off of Golden Triangle in Alta Vista. It's about 15 minutes from here.
Yep. Name of the car wash on that intersection?
White Rapids Car Wash.
That's how I know where to turn. Like, where's that tall car wash? There it is.
Yes, White Rapids.
Instagram?
CrossFit Bear Down.
Kaylin, I appreciate the time.
I appreciate you having me.
No problem. You have an awesome rest of your day. Everyone, thanks for watching. Fueled by Spite. Win unapologetically.